So, welcome everyone to our Bhagavad Gita group. I'll bring in with some prayers to my spiritual masters. Agena Timirandasya Gananjana Shilakaya Chakshur Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Offer my respectful obeisances unto my spiritual master, who with the torchlight of knowledge has opened my eyes which were blinded by the darkness of ignorance. Namaste Shri Bhakti Vijay Gaurvanya Shrimati Prema Bhakti Rasamade Param Jai Prabhu Namam Vishnu Paraya Radhika Priyatne Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta-Nayana Namam Vishnu Paraya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutle Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvanya Pracharne Namaste Shunyavadi Pastata Deshtarne Namam Vishnu Padaya Radhika Priyatne Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Namine Shri Srideva Goswami Raj Ki Jai Shri Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai Shri Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. So I'd like to start with one lovely prayer to our spiritual masters. This is a song written by a great saint called Srila Narottam Das Thakur, and we glorify, we honor the spiritual masters every day, because they are our connection with Krishna. Without them, we cannot connect with Krishna. So we therefore we remember them, we glorify them, and we pray for their kindness and mercy to enlighten us. So this is a very beautiful song. We can try. You got it there? It's called Shri Guru Charana Padma. You can see that one there? Shri Guru Charana Padma. We can try to
say it again.
Shri Guru Charana Padma.
No, they're not this page.
That's the other one there? Yeah?
Oh, it could be,
you got it there? Shri Guru Charana Padma, that's the one.
Oh,
yeah?
Oh, okay.
Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma Bandam Mue Savadana Mate Yahar Prasade Bhai Ebhavatoriya Krishna Pravapti Hoya Vaite Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Goriya Harda Kori Homani Asha Shri Guru Charane Rati Ese Uttama Gati E Prasade Pure Sarva Asha Chakudano Diloye Janme Janme Prabhu Se Dibyagan Rede Prokashri To Prema Bhakti Ahoite Avidya Vinashate Vedigaya Charito Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adama Janara Bandhu Lokanath Lokera Aha Prabhu Karadaya Tehomore Padachaya Ebeas Kushi Kribo Hana Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sam Bandhu Muhe Sabadana Mate Yahara Prasade Bhai E Bhavatoriya Krishna Prapti Hoya Hoite.
Hard to pronounce his words for me.
So I'd like to just read the translation. The lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we can attain pure devotional service. I bow to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. My only wish is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From him ecstatic prema emanates, by him ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor, and the Lord and master of the devotees. O Master, be merciful unto me. Give me the shade of your lotus feet. Your fame is spread all over the three worlds. So it's by his grace, just like when we address the spiritual master, we call him His Divine Grace. His Divine Grace, Bhaktivedanta Tirtha Maharaj, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Grace. So that's really actually our life and soul is the grace of the Guru. How to somehow or other get his grace. Of course we can't do anything to get his grace. He's just by nature very compassionate. But if we take up spiritual life and seek out the genuine spiritual master and surrender to him, try to serve him, try to please him, then automatically the grace will come. The grace will come, and by that grace, as it says in this prayer, our ignorance is destroyed. Ignorance is destroyed. So that ignorance is our greatest, is the darkness that causes our suffering. Ignorance of the fact that I'm not this body, I'm the spirit soul. My real identity is eternal servant of Krishna. Therefore my real business is to serve Krishna eternally. So this ignorance is what he destroys. He destroys that ignorance. Destroys means that it won't come back. It won't come back. So it's permanent healing. So therefore our relationship with him is our life and soul, is our life and soul. We need to appreciate, at least to some extent, that we are fully dependent on his grace, his divine grace. And somehow we're fortunate enough to have come in contact with him through his prayers, his instructions, his books. In this way we are receiving his divine grace. So another song that I'd like to sing is the Hari Haraya Nama Krishna song, which is glorifying the great saints and Lord Chaitanya. And also this song we are encouraged to sing regularly. So these songs, of course, are not ordinary songs. They have a great power to awaken our love for Guru and Krishna. That is what's needed, is to soften our hearts and free us of our material attachments. So I'll sing this little song as well. Play cartels for that one. Hari Haraya Namah Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshvaya Namaha Gopal Govindaram Srimadhusudan Giridhari Gopinath Madonna Mohan Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Sita Hari Guru Vaishnava Bhagavad Gita Shri Rup Shri Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath He Chai Gosai Kori Charana Vandan Yahaite Vignanar Shabdishta Puran He Chai Gosai Vitar Das Tan Sabara Padarinu Mura Panchakras Tandare Charanasi Bhakti Sanivas Janame Hoye Abhilas Echai Gosai Abhi Prajakoi Lavas Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakash Ananda Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Manjayaman Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Kori Rash Nam Sankirtan Kore Narottamo Das Hari Haray Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha Hari Haray Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Really, these songs, they're very wonderful. They, just by hearing them, even if we don't know the how to pronounce the words or even what they mean, the melodies, the mood of the song is so sweet, and it acts on our hearts, in this way, and we begin to feel blissful, joyful. The anxiety of material life goes away. This is the magic of these songs that are written by great saints, is that because they are so much absorbed in love for Krishna, they are not anxious, they are not unhappy, they are tasting the bliss of spiritual life, and therefore when we sing these songs by their grace, we also can get just a little taste of what that means. What is spiritual life? What is the relief that it gives from the material struggle that we experience? Radhe Radhe Radhe. So we're going to read today from Bhagavad Gita. The eternal song goes on. Chapter 10. The glorious perfection of the Supreme Person. The Master of all mystic beauty, Lord Krishna, then said, "Please hear from me carefully as I describe to you again the glories of the Supreme Divine Person. I speak out of a deep affection for you and a great concern for your welfare. The source of my existence cannot be fathomed even by the most powerful of beings or the most exalted of wise men, because I am in fact the fountainhead from which all such persons spring. Those who understand me to be the birthless, primordial sovereign of the cosmos are beyond delusion, and their hearts are washed clean of all that misunderstanding which causes blameful actions and leads to death. All of the various qualities of consciousness which the souls who reside in this world display have their source in me. These include the intellect with its power to investigate and perform self-analysis, as well as the faculty of discrimination, through which matter and spirit may be differentiated. The ethical capacity which allows one to forgive the transgressions of others and to distinguish between truth and falsity comes from me, as does the power to restrain the senses from the pursuit of their objects, to focus inner perception, and to contemplate upon supreme truth. From me comes sensitivity to pleasure and pain, and the instincts which guide one through the processes of being born and of dying. Feelings of fear and anxiety as well as their relief, sentiments of compassion for others, the sense of self-contentment, the capacity for doing penance and practicing altruism, and the awareness of good and evil repute, all of these have their origin in me. The great ancestors of the people of this world, the sages and the progenitors, were all born from the power of my mind. Gaining an understanding of the truths concerning my divine opulences and supernatural potencies will lead one to become perfectly established in loving communion with me through selfless divine service. There is certainly no doubt of this. I am the unitary source from whom all of the power in the universe is generated, and all creation emanates from me. The truly wise understand this and become devoted to me in love. The consciousness of saintly persons is always absorbed in ecstatic love for me, and all of their life energy is dedicated to my service. When in the company of like-minded souls, they take great relish in discussing theistic topics, and to humanity at large they make an effort to spread divine love. In this way they live a life of the greatest pleasure and satisfaction. And to all those who are perpetually engaged in the ecstasy of offering loving service to me, I bestow the enlightened understanding that will bring them to perfect intimacy with me. Desiring to shower my blessings upon them and to eradicate all misunderstanding, I, from my position within, illuminate their heart of hearts with a radiant torchlight of transcendental awareness. Arjuna then responded as follows: O my Lord, you are the Supreme Divine Person, the ultimate place of pilgrimage and shelter, totally pure and perfect. You are the original personality of transcendence, the primeval Lord of all creation, without birth and without limits. All who are great in wisdom, sages like the divine Narad, Asita, Deval, and the learned Vyas, have given testimony of this, and now you are confirming it with your own witness. O Krishna, O Keshava, I believe that all your words are absolute truth. The revelation of your position as the all-attractive Supreme Person, the reservoir of all opulences, is understood by neither the pious nor the powerful. In fact, you are incomprehensible to all but yourself, for you alone are equipped with sufficient potency to understand your own glories. You are indeed the source of all that be, sovereign emperor of the galaxies, lord of lords, and master of the entire cosmic creation. I would like to hear from you a more specific and complete description of the opulent and perfect transcendental potencies by which you permeate all existence with your presence. O supreme goal of all the saintly mystics, please tell me how I may keep my consciousness always absorbed in you, and in what way I should contemplate upon your all-attractive divine forms. Please go on describing the amazing extent of your mystic power and beauty, for my ears are never satiated by the flow of nectar from your lips, O shelter of all the people. The blessed Lord then said, I shall certainly be pleased to speak further about my divine nature, but in doing so, I shall have to point out only the principal amongst my personal opulences, which in fact are infinite in their scope, O great chief of the Kuru dynasty. I am the very soul of everything, and am situated within the hearts of all. I am the origin, the support, and the destination of every sentient being, my dear Arjuna. Amongst godly figures, I am Vishnu, the all-pervasive one. Of luminous things, I am the radiant and life-giving sun. I am Marichi, amongst the gods of outer space, and of all the stars, I am the soothing moon. Amongst the holy scriptures, I am the hymns of the Samaveda, and amongst the celestial overlords, I am Indra, the king of paradise. Of all the sensory faculties, I am the mind, and I am the force of conscious life within the living. Amongst the powers of destruction, I am Shankar, the great Lord Shiva, and of the powerful subtle beings, I am Kuvera, the chief treasurer of the gods. Within the family of the Vasus, I am the deity of the fire, and of mighty mountains, I am Mount Meru, at the universal center. You should understand, my dear child of Pritha, that of high priests I am the most eminent Brihaspati, of warlords I am Generalissimo Kartikeya, the son of Lord Shiva, and of seas I am the mighty ocean. Amongst great seers of the truth I am the sage Bhrigu, amongst all words and sounds I am the imperishable syllable Om. Of all forms of divine sacrifice I am the recitation of the holy names of God, and of stationary objects I am the range of Himalayas. Amongst great trees I am the sacred fig tree. Of godly sages I am Narada Muni. Of those with clear voices who sing for the pleasure of the gods, I am Chidirata, and of all perfected souls, I am the wise Kapila. Of horses, I am a Trishrava, who was produced along with the elixir of immortality when the gods and demons churned the ocean. Of mighty elephants, I am a Ravat, who was also produced from nectar. And in human society, I am that monarch who gives light to the people. Amongst weapons, I am the Vajra, the cosmic thunderbolt. And of cows, I am Kamadhenu, that miraculous bovine whose udders yield the fruits of all desires. Of those who beget children, I am Cupid, the god of sexual love. And amongst the snake community, I am the pious Vasuki. Of cosmic serpents, I am Ananta, possessed of limitless heads. And of all those who live beneath the water, I am the resident monarch Varuna. Amongst the forefathers of humankind, I am Aryama, who presides over the planets of the ancestors. And of all those who regulate the affairs of the world, I am Yama, who oversees death and transmigration. Within the midst of the family of demons descending from Diti, I am the saintly Prahlad, and amongst all conquerors I am Time, which conquers all. Amongst the beasts of the jungle I am the lordly lion, and of all the many different birds I am Garuda, who carries Narayan and Lakshmi upon his back. Of all that purifies I am the wind, and amongst those who are expert in the use of weaponry I am the great King Ram. Amongst aquatics I am the shark, and of streams of flowing water I am the beautiful Janavi, the sacred Ganges. I am the beginning, middle and end of all creation, my dear Arjuna. Amongst forms of education I am that science which leads to perfect knowledge of the self, and in an argument I am the natural and logical conclusion. In the alphabet I am the first letter A, and of different types of words I am the dual compound. I am the eternal feature of time, and the Lord of creative potency, whose many faces point in all directions. I am death which consumes all, and I am the source of all that which has not yet come to be. Amongst women, I am the presiding goddesses of the perfect feminine qualities, good reputation, beauty and opulence, sharp memory, deep intelligence, steadfastness in service, and patient forgiveness. Of hymns, I am the beautiful Briyati melody of the hymns sung to the Lord at midnight, and of all poetic verses, I am the transcendental rhythm of the Gayatri invocation. Of months, I am the months of harvest, and of seasons, I am the fragrant days of spring. Amongst frauds, I am the cheating gambler, and of all that which is radiant, I am the radiance. I am the sense of victory in all winners, the spirit of adventure in the brave, and the goodness of all those who are good and true. Within the Vrishni dynasty, I am the son of Vasudeva, and within the family of Pandu, I am Arjuna. Of all the learned philosophers, I am Vyas, the compiler of the Vedas, and of deep thinkers, I am Shukra, the professor of the unsurrendered souls. Amongst those who must keep order, I am the penalties which they impose upon the lawless, and of those who seek after success, I am those who keep to righteous means. Of those things which must be kept secret, I am the protecting vow of silence, and I am the wisdom possessed by the wise. My dear Arjuna, I am the seed from which all living things grow up, and nothing animate or inanimate could exist if I did not exist. Infinite indeed are my opulences and potencies, or hero amongst men, and the examples that I have given you are by no means complete. You should understand that all that is substantial, beautiful, and glorious within creation is born from a tiny fragment of my lustrous majesty. So what will you gain by knowing all these varied things? It is enough to know that indeed I am, and that with a single spark of my mystic nature, I uphold and pervade the entire cosmos. So Krishna is describing just a very tiny spark of his splendor, the glorious perfection of the Supreme Person. So Krishna is a perfect person, is the perfect person. And therefore the imperfections that we experience in other relationships are not there in Krishna. And therefore he's the perfect friend of everyone. He's the most intimate, perfect friend of everyone. And therefore as we develop that loving relationship with Him, we will be satisfied. We will be satisfied. Of course, it's not a cheap thing. It's the most valuable thing. So, just like Srila Prabhupada gave the example, there are different kinds of nuts that you get. And the most valuable nuts, they take a little longer to get mature. We've got to wait for to become ripe, so to speak. So the reason he gives that example is that the more we get some appreciation of what it means to become Krishna conscious, what the value is of becoming Krishna conscious, then we will become patient. It's one of the qualities necessary on the bhakti path. Enthusiasm, patience, confidence. These are three qualities which are necessary. Enthusiasm, patience, confidence. Patience means that we will keep steady on the path. Despite the ups and downs, and just like as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, that just because a fire produces some smoke doesn't mean you put the fire out. So similarly, on the spiritual journey we may encounter some difficulty. That doesn't mean that we stop the journey. Rather we look within and see what it is that I am needing to learn about this experience. Krishna is teaching me something here, which is necessary for me to learn. And in this way, if we look at ourselves rather than try to find some fault with the environment or with other people or with Krishna, then we can actually make steady progress. So these lessons will come to us by Krishna's grace, because every one of us is an individual on the journey, and Krishna is fully aware of what we need to learn individually, and he will reciprocate with us in such a way as to teach us what it is we need to learn to make more progress on the path. And that progress means to become free of our material attachments, and at the same time become attached to Krishna, as it says in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, the postgraduate study of the Vedas, the Vedic teachings, that the only treasure is Krishna, service to Krishna, and love of Krishna. There's no other treasure. Prema Dan. Dan means treasure, and Prem means divine love. So it may seem far away from us. How will I come to this exalted platform of pure love for Krishna? But my guru once gave the example where if you want to go to Johannesburg from Cape Town, it's quite a distance, but you get on the train, and you stay on the train, and you'll get there. Just stay on the train, Don't jump off. So in the same way, once we get more sure that this Krishna consciousness, this teaching as given by the great saints, is perfect. It's perfect. Perfect means that the result will come. The result will come. But we need to stay on the train. Stay on the train. Keep steady with our practices. And this will, as Krishna says in this chapter also, beyond doubt, it is beyond doubt that we will get this result. As far away as it may seem. If you go out onto the street and speak to the average man and you say, oh, there's another spiritual world, there's a world beyond this, it's called the spiritual world, the spiritual sky. And there's no birth there, there's no old age, there's no disease, there's no death. They'll think you're crazy. They'll think you're crazy. They say, well, how do you know that, and this is the message that the great saints have come to give us. Bhagavad Gita is giving us this message that this material universe is just a very tiny portion of creation. It's not our home. As Bhaktisiddhanta said, this material world is no place for a gentleman. No place for a gentleman. What does that mean? It means that we finish up our business here. We don't try and stay here. Stick around. No. It's no place for a gentleman. So the idea is to finish up our business and become engaged in our real business, which is to serve Krishna, to serve Radha and Krishna. That is beyond any suffering. As it's many times Krishna says like that there's complete freedom from suffering there. In this world, day after day, we're accustomed to suffering, one kind of suffering or another. It's a daily thing. It happens every day. Whether it's to do with your body or your mind or some other creature or person that's attacking you, or the elements, cold, heat. Every day there's some suffering in this world. That's all we know, actually. Of course, we try to make it perfect here. We make so many adjustments. Buy yourself a nice thick coat, or move to some warmer climate, or put up a bigger security system, or so many things we try to do to adjust the situation, but it cannot be adjusted. It is not our natural environment. So, exodus to the land of love, as my Guru put it nicely. Exodus, just like the Jews when they left Egypt. Exodus, not their home. It was not their home. It's time to leave. So the same thing here. Keep that focus, every day that I have a focus. In Sanskrit it's called Param Gatim, the supreme destination. To keep that focus daily is required, that not to be sidetracked or to lose our connection with Krishna by the false attractions of this world. The glamour of the false attractions, as Krishna says, the dazzle of the material world. Because it's Krishna's energy, it's also very amazing, but it has one defect, and that is that it's temporary. No matter how beautiful it looks, and it is beautiful, the mountains, the sea, the ocean, the flowers, the trees, the creatures here are extremely beautiful, there's no doubt. It's Krishna's energy. But there's one defect, one problem in everything that we experience here, and that is that it's temporary. The beauty here is not everlasting, and we don't want it to end. We want that which is everlasting. Satchit Ananda is our nature, the nature as Krishna describes in the Vedas. Satchidananda Vigraha, that this is our real nature of the soul, that it is Sat, it is eternal. Chit, it is by nature full of knowledge. Ananda, full of bliss. That is what we want. We want eternal, blissful, knowledgeable life. That is what we want. Everybody wants that. But it is not here. It is not in this place. No matter how beautiful and attractive this may seem, it is not the world where you will find eternal, knowledgeable, blissful life. It's not here. It doesn't exist here. So we need to not be, as Krishna says, to carefully guard our consciousness, from these two things. Exploitative motivations, in other words, to try and exploit others, to take advantage of others for my benefit. This is illusion. I'm not the Lord of all I survey. Everything is not meant for my pleasure. I am not the center of the universe. Krishna is the center. I'm his servant. So we should guard against that tendency to exploit others and the environment for my own pleasure. And the other thing Krishna says to guard against is false attractions. To carefully guard the consciousness against exploitative motivations and false attractions. So there are many, many attractions in this material world, but they're false. They're false in the sense that they cannot give the soul lasting pleasure and satisfaction. That's why they're false. They are attractive. Krishna's energy is attractive, even his material energy. But we need to guard against those two things. Exploitative motivations, false attractions. Krishna is the real attraction. He's not false. So the more we become attracted to Krishna, serving Krishna, trying to love Krishna, the more we find that this is the real attraction. I'm getting what I need, what I want. The other attractions, as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, in the beginning they have a taste of nectar, but that taste becomes like poison. As the pleasure diminishes, in the beginning it tastes like nectar, but all those pleasures in the material world have a beginning, a middle and end. So in the end it tastes like poison. But Krishna is the opposite. Actually, the more and more we practice Krishna consciousness, the more sweet that life becomes. Anandam buddhivardhanam, as it says, Lord Chaitanya's prayer, Shikshastak, first verse. Anandam buddhivardhanam, that this spiritual life is compared to Anandam buddhivardhanam. Buddhi means an ocean, vardhanam means increasing. Ananda of bliss. Ananda. So the bliss in spiritual life is, rather than like material life, it has a beginning, a middle and an end. In spiritual life, the more we become Krishna conscious, the more relishable, the more sweet, the more bliss, ananda, we begin to experience. And that is ever increasing. Like an ocean that just gets bigger. Anandam buddhivardhanam. So these things may seem way beyond us for a neophyte like myself, especially, but the more we practice, hearing, chanting, shravanam, kirtanam, praying and so forth, serving the devotees, deity worship, offering our food to Krishna, when we do these things, they become part of our life, part of our lifestyle. Hearing, so important, speaking. The more we begin to feel that our doubts are disappearing, that, maybe we thought this Krishna consciousness is not really for me, and yes, it's okay, but it won't really give me what I want, and like that. Those doubts start becoming less and less and less, and become more fixed, steady, and then we just keep going like that. This is good, and Krishna takes care of us. He looks after us. He encourages us in a very personal way. Very personal way. That's the amazing thing. Krishna is the intimate friend of every single one of us. How about that? And they're unlimited souls, and yet he does reciprocate with each one of us individually. Just like if you've got a really intimate friend, close friend in this world, they know you well, they're really close, yeah, you can talk to them, you can confide in them, they know you and they care about you, right, even in this world. Now what to speak of this perfect person, Sri Krishna, how well does he know you, how much does he care about you, and how intimate is that relationship? Intimate means it's really close and sweet, This is what we're after. This is what we're after. And we've got the path, we've got the way, under the guidance of Sri Guru. We know the way. He's there already. He's loving Krishna 24/7, all the time. Premanjana charita bhakti vilochanena. as the prayers from Lord Brahma. Premanjana Charita Bhakti Vilochanena. That because the pure devotee, the Guru's eyes, are smeared with the ointment, Anjana. Anjana means the ointment of prem, of love. Premanjana Charita Bhakti Vilochanena. Santa Sadeva Hridayeshi Vilokayanti. Santa Sadeva. Sadeva means all the time. He's seeing Krishna face to face all the time. So how sweet, how intimate, I can't imagine. But some or other he's come here and said, you do what I say, you follow my instructions, and you too will come to that stage where your eyes are smeared with the ointment of love, and you can see Krishna face to face, 24/7. Wow. That's worth working for. That's worth working for. It's not a 5-minute journey, but it sounds amazing. There's nothing else worth working for, is there? In this material world, what is there worth working for? Nothing. It's all temporary. No benefit, no eternal benefit for the soul. So it's not worth working for. Work, sure, but work for something worthwhile. As Krishna says, fully determined and intelligent effort is required. Fully determined. Wow, that means you put everything else aside. I've only got one goal, one focus, it's Krishna, not so many other things. No, one thing, just Krishna. Fully determined. An intelligent effort, not like mad effort, intelligent effort, steady progress. In this way we can make progress. And that progress, as Srila Maharaj says, is like a man who's hungry. If you give him nice food, he feels satisfied. He knows he's satisfied. He doesn't need someone else to tell him that he's satisfied. He knows. So the same thing, as we begin to want to hear more about Krishna, talk more about Krishna, serve Krishna more and more, associate with Krishna devotees more and more, we begin to feel some satisfaction which is satisfying me in a very deep way, in the soul. And as that happens, we want more of that. We want more of that. Hey, this is what I want. This is what I want. And everything else, let it go. It has no value. Let it go. Yeah? All the false attractions. So we're on the journey, and we continue day by day. Krishna, every morning we wake up, Krishna's giving us another chance, more opportunity to become more Krishna conscious, isn't it? You know, we've got another. The energy of the body is there, the energy, the time, maybe all the resources are there. For what? To become more Krishna conscious. Yeah. So that's all we need, just more and more opportunity to become more Krishna conscious. So we can sing a little bit together more the Hare Krishna mantra, and if you'd like to sing along. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jai Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Jai Shri Krishna Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Silom Vishnupad Padamaspire Rajakacharya Asatatra Sri Srimad is doing grace. Bhaktivedanta Maharaj ki jai. Jai Silom Vishnupad Padamaspire Rajakacharya Asatatra Sri Srimad is doing grace. Shri Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Jai Silom Vishnupad Padamaspire Rajakacharya Asatatra Sri Srimad is doing grace. Shri Bhakti Rakshak Siradeva Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Jai Silom Vishnupad Paramahansa Rajakacharya Asatatra Sri Srimad is doing grace. Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Ananta Koji Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Prem Se Gaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasani Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Shamakund Radhakund Giri Govardhan ki jai. Gangamayi ki jai, Yamunamayi ki jai, Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Tulsi Devi ki jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Shri Jagannath Puri Dham ki jai, Shri Navadip Dham ki jai, Shri Mayapur Dham ki jai, Shri Mathura Dham ki jai. Go Premanandi Hari